Hey, what is going on, guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on the best AD carries for patch 6.9. So first up is going to be Jinx. I think that Jinx is actually in a pretty good spot right now. A lot of the AD carries have been nerfed recently, like Jhin, Ezreal, Kalista, and therefore Jinx has gotten a lot stronger. She hasn't been buffed or nerfed recently, so with a lot of the AD carries in the game getting nerfed, she is becoming much stronger than she was before. She is one of the better scaling AD carries in the game once you do get to late game as Jinx, and you can get some nice AoE fishbone crits off in team fights. You can deal a lot of damage. She also has pretty good crowd control for an AD carry with her W and her E. Her ultimate is really strong for just finishing off that low health target in a team fight, or also for in the laning phase when you see either the mid or the top laner on the enemy team low on HP and you see them basing by their turret. Don't be afraid to just use your ult to see if you can pick up a kill, because if you do, then you can get the advantage in the laning phase by doing that. She is also a very strong tower pushing AD carry because of her passive, and her cleanup potential in teamfights is also really good. If you can get that one kill or assist, then you will proc your passive, and then you'll gain that movement speed, and it's going to be really hard for the enemies to catch you out, and you're just going to be able to run after whoever's low on HP, and you're going to be able to clean up the teamfight really nicely. One con to Jinx is that she does not have a gap closer, so you do have to know how to position well with her in order to be successful on her. Next on my list is going to be Kogmaw. So I don't think Kogmaw is as good as he was last patch, which is why he isn't at my #1 spot anymore, but I still do think he is a very solid pick for sure. The Rageblade item did get an increase in price, so that means Kogmaw is not going to reach his power spike as quick as he did last patch. He does still have a really good mid game once he does get his Hurricane and his Rageblade, but the item path, or it does take a little bit longer to get both of those items now, so he isn't going to be as strong as quick as he was before. He also does have really good DPS in teamfights. If you can stay alive as Kogmaw in a teamfight, then you're going to get a lot of damage off with your W active. He is also a pretty long range AD carry whenever his W is up, and he also does have his ultimate, which he can use pretty nicely to just kill those low health targets who are trying to get away. He does have the percentage health damage too on his W, which makes him a pretty good pick. We are still seeing a lot of these tank champions being played in the top lane. Maokai is still the most picked top lane champion, so if the enemy team does lock a tank top laner, then Kogmaw is definitely a very good choice to pick in that situation. And one con to Kog is that he does not have a gap closer, which is a common con to a lot of these AD carries on my list for this patch. Next up, I have Sivir. So Sivir is an all-around really strong AD carry. She has a great early game. Her mid to late game is even stronger now after the buff she got to her W. If you don't know what they did to her W, now whenever you use it and the first auto crits when you're using it, the consecutive bounces your W gives off will also crit. So this just makes her teamfight really good, and her wave clear is even better now. She does have her spell shield too, which allows her to be really safe in the laning phase if she is going up against an engaged support, and it allows her to just be really safe in team fights as well. If you do time your spell shield correctly, then you can definitely negate a pretty game-changing ability, something like a Thresh Hook or a Leona ultimate. She does also have that auto attack reset on her W, so be sure to use that in the laning phase to win trades. Her poke is also pretty good with her Q in the laning phase, and her ultimate is one of the strongest abilities for solo queue. It's just such a versatile ability because you can use it to engage, you can use it to disengage, so just never be afraid when you are playing as Sivir to use your ultimate if you do see the enemy squishy or you do see one of the enemies caught out of position. And a few cons to Sivir are that she is a shorter ranged AD carry, and she is also pretty vulnerable when her E and her ultimate are on cooldown. Next up, I have Ashe. So Ashe right now is my personal favorite go-to AD carry. I've had really good success on Ashe lately. I'm pretty sure I have an 80% win rate with her this season, and the reason I do so well on her, in my opinion, is because of her ultimate and her great kiting potential. Her ultimate is just such a strong ability because it is that global stun, so once you do get to mid to late game teamfights, if you can find that pick on the enemy squishy or the enemy high priority target, you can end up winning the game for your team right there. Her CC is also really strong with her W, her passive, and her ultimate. When you are going up against like a tanky champion who is immobile, it's just really easy to kite them. When you do get your 4 stacks on your Q, you're going to be getting that nice slow with your Q and with your passive. You're also going to be able to kite them around with your W, so she's just an all-around really good pick against those immobile champions. She does have a great level 6 all-in, so when you are playing with a strong engaged support, make sure you do try to just engage with your ultimate at level 6 because chances are you will pick up a kill. And lastly, on my top 5 for this patch, I have Twitch. So Twitch is a really good mid to late game AD carry. The build path of Youmuu's and Hurricane on Twitch is really strong right now. It just synergizes really well with his kit, and it allows him to hit a nice mid game power spike pretty early on in the game. A lot of the other core builds that AD carries go are Infinity Edge and Hurricane, and Kogmaw goes Rage Blade and Hurricane. Those items are a lot more expensive than Youmuu's and Hurricane is, so it just allows Twitch to hit his mid-game power spike a lot quicker than most of the other AD carries in the game. He does have great teamfight too. His ultimate can be really strong as long as you can position well in teamfights as Twitch. You can get a lot of damage off while staying at a very safe distance. He also has the stealth with his Q, which allows him to set up for teamfights really nicely. Whenever I'm playing Twitch, before I think a teamfight's going to start, I pop my Q so I can get in position to get a nice ultimate off in a teamfight. His Q also does reset when you do get a kill now, so be sure you don't forget that when you are playing as Twitch, because it could be the difference between you getting that extra attack speed and you getting a kill or you not getting a kill. And he also does have the very long range with his ultimate, which makes him a very strong teamfighting champion. The attack speed steroid on his Q is also really strong for pushing down towers or just for dueling your opponent, so always remember to use your Q when you are pushing down towers as Twitch. And he also does have some true damage in his kit with his passive. A few cons to Twitch are that he does not have a gap closer, and he is a little bit weaker early game compared to some of the other AD carries. So first on my honorable mentions, I have Caitlyn. Caitlyn does have one of the better early games for any AD carry. She's a really good pick against the AD carries who do have shorter auto attack ranges. Specifically Vayne, she is a great pick against, so if you are a good Caitlyn player and the enemy team does lock a Vayne, then I would recommend picking her in that situation. She also does have a really good mid to late game now. Once you do get your traps maxed out as Caitlyn, you can have 5 of those down at once, so that just makes her team fight really strong, and it also makes her sieging really strong. If you do get ahead as Caitlyn, make sure to siege down towers and just try to take towers, because your traps just allow you to zone really well, and it's really hard for the enemies to engage on you when you do have those 5 traps down. Next up, I have Lucian. So Lucian is the most picked AD carry in the game right now, which really isn't a big surprise because he is one of the most picked AD carries in competitive play. So obviously when people see him played in competitive, they're going to want to play him in solo queue too. But I really don't think he is that strong of an AD carry for solo queue. He's got a pretty good early game, a pretty good mid game, and a solid late game too, but he doesn't excel at any stages of the game. His late game does get outscaled by champions like Twitch or Jinx or Kogmaw, and his early game isn't as strong as someone like a Caitlyn. So overall, Lucian is a pretty good AD carry, but there definitely are other AD carries who are better than him right now. And lastly, on the honorable mentions for this patch, I have Ezreal. So even though Ezreal did get a nerf to his ultimate and the Iceborne Gauntlet also got nerfed, I do still think he is a very valuable pick just because he is one of the safer AD carries in the game. He does have the blink on his E, and he also does have the kite once he does get the Iceborne Gauntlet, so it just allows him to stay really safe in teamfights, and you can get off a lot of consistent damage as him as long as you can hit your Q. He also does scale pretty well into the late game. Once you do get Mirror Mana on him, he starts to do a lot of damage, so if you are looking for one of the safer AD carries, then I would play Ezreal. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, then please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. So thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next